thank you for coming to our studio today. And what key strategies should Mongolia prioritize, for your opinion, for a green transition? And how does UNDP support these efforts?
Well, first, I think it's very good that the leadership has shown such ambition to make sure that in the not too distant future, and that is important, that Mongolia does not just set targets. It has set its emission reduction targets, but that it puts in place the strategies needed to get there soon. Now, it's an economy that for years, for decades, has been quite dependent on coal, both domestically and as a big export commodity. Right? This is what brings revenue to the country. It fires up industry, and it has created jobs. So we have to look at how the backing away from coal, what does that mean? So it's easy to say, let's move right away into 100% into solar and wind, thermal, geothermal. But this is easier said than done. There are costs. But the countries that are moving faster into renewable energy are the ones that are going to own the economy of tomorrow. So if Mongolia wants to remain competitive and diversify its revenue sources, but also protect its own budget and the way it actually prospers going forward, the green transition has to go beyond plans and goals and actually turn into strategies.
So what governance elements are crucial for Mongolia's future resilience, and are these successful models Mongolia could follow, in your opinion?
Indeed, and this is where UNDP has been requested by the government to come in, and I think it works at different levels. One is on the national policy level. What is it that actually will improve the regulation of renewable energy sources? What will actually be an effective tariff mechanism? Because electricity, if it gets too expensive for people, that's a problem. So what are the tax and subsidies that should be provided, particularly for those who cannot afford to pay a higher rate for electricity? But at the same time, you have to work at the community level as well, right? We cannot be breathing in coal, right? And so you see that particularly for the women and children of Mongolia, this has deeply affected their health, their well-being. So there's a high cost to polluting, to air pollution, for example, that here is caused by coal. All of this is known, the research is known, there is a lot of awareness, but there needs to be increased effort to work from the community level to the national level to make sure that we can support this work going forward. And for UNDP, a lot of the work we've done, demonstration work with excellent local NGOs, community groups, local businesses, to actually shift in the Gur area, for example, to shift out households out of using coal into solar. And that is being measured, the results, the impact is being measured. And in fact, it could even, if it's done at scale, and we hope now that we can take it to scale with some other partners supporting as well. Very happy with the Gur Hub, with Eureka and others, these local partners who now can help us to maybe take this to the entire Gur area. Then with some of the banks, if they can come in with the financing, I think soon the city of Ulaanbaatar and everything around it can shift. And that is something that UNDP will continue to working on. And then to take it also as part of the regional development strategies for the country.
So you mentioned about the banks needs to finance the system, but recently most of the global investing firms and banks are started to quit in the climate change goals clubs. So how do you see it's going to affect the market to reach the global situation, to reach its main goal?
I think the market is also now seeing that the marginal cost of fossil fuels is much higher than the marginal cost of renewable energy, right? So renewable energy of different sources, and it'll be a blended package, is actually becoming more cost effective. And so the market will start speaking as well. And so the banks will also follow the markets. National banks, international banks will be looking at investing in renewables as a better economic option. For UNDP, it's a better human development option as well. So for us, we put the person in the center of what it means for the well-being and prosperity of people. For investors, they will look at, is it good for the economy? Is it good for my bottom line? Can I also earn a profit? When these two things come together, and this is where a green transition brings it together, I think it both is good for the economy and it's good for people of Mongolia.
So how can Mongolia address its unique challenges compared to advanced economies, and what lessons can it learn from the other countries?
I think a couple of good ones. I think the countries that are accelerating faster on the green transition and are adjusting their governance systems, the way they manage natural resources, because you can't just talk about climate change, you have to talk about nature and biodiversity. Bringing these together, we have learned that countries that are looking at those issues and shifting are the ones that are going to be doing better regionally and globally. And then, very importantly, which is also why I'm here, partly why I'm here in Mongolia at this moment in time, to attend the World Women's Forum that is being hosted by your country. It's the role of women in society and in an economy. And economies that actually serve better the goals of gender equality and gender empowerment are also economies that are doing better. So for Mongolia, learning from those countries, the more and more that it moves both environmental justice, social justice issues into economic policy and into governance systems, this is a country that is on its road to prosperity. So started from our question, like interview, you mentioned about the green transition, it needs more green jobs. So how can Mongolia balance the creation of green jobs with economic growth, in your opinion? And what examples of success in other countries like could Mongolia can look up to? Well, we can see in many countries in our region now, there are many more jobs being created, new jobs, in the tech industry, for example, in small-scale business startups that are more green, that are looking at new businesses. There is more new jobs being created in the solar industry, and these are the new jobs that I think young Mongolians will be looking to. They don't want to go work in coal mines. So I think the days of jobs being created in the coal industry are coming down, and new jobs being created in the green economy is going up. So if I'm a young Mongolian, that is what I'm going to look at, and that is what I'm going to bet my future on.
So how does the UNDP support these strategies that you mentioned, especially in balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability and when it's trying to improve its renewable energy sector?
So first, we are very much keen to work on national policy and national regulations. So this can't be done just with one ministry. It has to be done across the board. And the good thing is, in the Office of the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, they're trying to bring the sectors together. And so it's to support that integration across sectors so that these policies make sense, not just economic policy, but environment policy, social policy, housing, transport. These, you have to bring the sectors together. So UNDP is continuing to work and will do more work at the sector and thematic policy level. And then, very importantly, to work, as I mentioned, at the local level, with communities, with businesses, to make sure that their lives also have new tech, solar energy introduced, much more clean and healthy living that is good for this generation and the generations to come. So you have to work at both ends, and this is the offer from UNDP to the country.
About the financial system, what innovative financing options could help Mongolia, and how can UNDP assist in securing these resources? Because nowadays the banks are trying to, help to improve the green transition, to investing more into green bonds and other.
So here we have worked a lot with bond frameworks, SDG bonds, green bonds. But bonds are not the only instrument. So one has to also look at what are the global funds out there that can be leveraged for Mongolia. Now, as it is a middle-income country moving to upper middle-income country, it's expensive money out there. But there is still, between the multilateral banks and the global different climate funds and green funds, there is money out there. So government has to put public finance to leverage private capital and international capital. And that's the convening role, if you wish, that UNDP plays. So it's first to support the instruments, the design of the financial instruments, to look at opportunities for innovative financing, but also to bring the financing together on platforms where public money and private money can actually come together in blended ways for this purpose.
Okay, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.